The well-known abolitionist and former slave Frederick Douglass hesitantly endorsed Abraham Lincoln's candidacy for president in 1860. Lincoln was against slavery, but his primary goal was to preserve the Union, even if it meant preserving slavery. Despite this, Douglass praised Lincoln's issuance of the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 and began working to recruit African American troops to serve in the Union Army. Lincoln and Douglass met at the White House that same year, where Douglass asked the president for equal pay for African American soldiers and for the president to retaliate for atrocities committed against them. Lincoln expressed sympathy but did not agree to Douglass's demands. Douglass and Lincoln would meet 2 more times in the White House. They had developed a special bond of mutual respect. In their last meeting, Lincoln would say, "Douglass, there is no man in the country whose opinion I value more than yours." Douglass would later say, "Though the Union was more to him than our freedom or our future, under his wise and beneficent rule we saw ourselves gradually lifted from the depths of slavery to the heights of liberty and manhood."
Peace, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and donate to this channel. Thank you. The other day I was on X, formerly known as Twitter, and I came across this tweet or post by CJG. Shout out to CJG Productions. Go follow him on X if you can. He does some great work. Both parties are the same. Democrats did not in 2018 try to split the largest HBCU into 2 different congressional districts to dilute the black vote. So don't tell me they are the same. #FBA. And this is Yvette Carnell's response. Because you spend so much time scoring easy points with Flex's bank account, FBA, you miss the core issues. We're not saying both parties are the same. We're not saying Republicans haven't attempted to and succeeded in undermining our rights and erasing our wealth. But we're dealing with expectations. The black vote goes overwhelmingly for Democrats. We are squarely in the blue column, far outpacing Asians, Latinos, and whites. Thus, we have higher expectations for Democrats, starting with a candidate who has a transformative black agenda. Voting is an exchange, not a gift. Right now, the exchange is lopsided. It's time to sweeten the deal. Now, family, I don't even know how to address this tweet because it just sums up everything I said about Yvette Carnell, about her being an agent, about when she talks to people who actually knows politics. She has a whole different set of talking points than when she's talking to her audience who she knows doesn't know anything about politics. Because when has Yvette Carnell so blatantly, when talking to her audience, acknowledged the reality that it is the Republicans and the Republicans alone who attempt and succeed in undermining black rights and erasing black wealth? You notice she didn't say the Democrats do that, right? She didn't say both parties do that. But if you listen to Yvette when she's talking to her audience, you could easily come to that conclusion. When she talks about how the Democrats with immigration and Trump is right about black jobs and the biggest loss of black wealth was under Obama and yada, 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 yada. You could easily come to that conclusion. When she talks about how we got to do down ballot voting because both parties are just unacceptable at the top, you can easily come to that conclusion. But here, she's acknowledging that it's just the Republicans and the Democrats do no such thing to black people. Again, if you listen to her and her ilk, you would not think that was the case. You would think they both do it. In fact, you would think the Democrats uniquely do it and are effectively worse when they do it. This is, I don't even know how to address this, but I want to touch on the part why I decided to make this video. She said voting is an exchange, not a gift. Yvette, did you not understand that you explained the exchange right then and there? Because if the Republicans are trying to hurt black people, and the Democrats are not trying to hurt black people. In fact, the Democrats are the ones protecting black people from the Republicans and the ones giving black people their stuff, which the Republicans are trying to take away. Isn't that an exchange right then and there? We are voting for them, and they are protecting us and increasing our standard of living. Because what is an exchange? Let's go to the Merriam-Webster to find out what is an exchange and what is a gift. Exchange, the act of giving or taking one thing in return for another. Gift, something voluntarily transferred by one person to another without compensation. So, what does the voting relationship between black people and Democrats sound like to you? An exchange or a gift? And I don't want anybody coming here saying, well, she never actually said it was a gift. She just said the exchange was lopsided. Because again, that goes back to my point about contradictions and lies. Because we have heard Yvette Carnell and her ilk claim that black people are giving their vote away to the Democrats for free. That black people are gifting their votes to the Democrats. And this goes back to what I was talking about when she talks to somebody who actually knows politics. Look how the talking points change. Also, and I'm talking to the people right now, there's nothing wrong with having higher expectations, but your higher expectations cannot exceed reality. There's nothing wrong with wanting to sweeten the deal, but we cannot deal in fantasy. We must deal in reality. There's nothing wrong with having an ideal candidate in our heads, but we can't make the good the enemy of the perfect. Was Abraham Lincoln a perfect or an ideal candidate for black people in 1860? The answer is no, but he was the best candidate available in 1860. Remember, there were 4 people running in that election. 3 others represented a pro-slavery point of view. Abraham Lincoln represented the anti-slavery point of view, but he also was someone who said he wouldn't go to war over slavery. Was that ideal or perfect for a black person? No, but it was the best option. Having somebody who says, hey, I think slavery is bad, but I'm not going to start a war to end it, is better than having somebody in office who says, hey, I think slavery is awesome and we need to expand it. This is not rocket science. It's obvious to a duck who black people should have supported in 1860, just like it is obvious to a duck who black people should be supporting in 2024. It's actually disgraceful that we even have to have this conversation. Beyond disgraceful. And who's leading this conversation amongst you guys? A MAGA operative. Somebody who got outed as working for a white nationalist organization is trying to convince black people to vote against their own interests. She even has to acknowledge that Republicans winning is not in the interest of black people, but still in all, she is promoting you do things that would ensure Republicans win, like voting down ballot, or any of these other crazy ideas people have, like not voting at all, or voting third party. All that will ensure a Republican victory. And we cannot do that. That is un-black. That is not our way. Make sure you get out there and vote Harris Waltz 2024. Do what you gotta do. Do what you're supposed to do. But I'm gonna end this video here. Like, share, subscribe. Drop me a comment. Tell me what you think. Donate to me if you can. And on that note, family, peace.
So for more than half a century, everyone here knows the Congressional Black Caucus has served as the conscience of the Congress and of our nation. And as a proud former CBC member, I know firsthand America relies on the leaders in this room, not only for a conscience, but for a vision. The CBC has always had a vision for the future of our nation. A future where we can see what is possible, unburdened by what has been. A future where we fulfill the promise of America. a promise of freedom, opportunity, and justice, not just for some, but for all. And today, that vision, our vision, is under profound threat. While we move and fight to move our nation forward toward a brighter future, Donald Trump and his extremist allies intend to take our nation backward. They will give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations, cut Social Security and Medicare, and end the Affordable Care Act, which the CBC fought so hard to pass. But we are not going back. We are not going back. No, we will chart a new way forward.